Alright, just doing the tar paper here, number 15 felt paper or something like that. I have my 1/2 inch exposure 1 OSB, and this is all sheathed. I used a pneumatic stapler, which is made for roofing. The staples are 1.5 inch, 7/16 in width, and 16 gauge galvanized with adhesive, like $40 at Lowe's or Home Depot, something like that. Anyway, so a few observations. I'm not ridge venting. I thought about it. I'm going to have gables instead. And I mean, everything's going to be venting in its own way anyway, and the soffit will also have vents, but again, I don't know that I'm actually going to do anything about that. The cellulose insulation is moisture resistant. We'll see how this goes. It's a little bit unconventional to just not vent the heck out of a building. Solves a lot of problems. You know, gets rid of residual moisture. If anything toxic builds up, radon, whatever, venting gets rid of it, or mitigates it. So there are a lot of reasons to vent. In particular, if I'm chlorinating the water in here, chlorine gas would build up, you know, etc. One reason I'm going with gable venting, though, is because, well, for one, it's going to be a single space. I don't think I'm going to have a separate dedicated attic space. That may change. But the other thing is I can actually open and close gable vents, potentially mechanically, and I think that's kind of ideal. So if there's a moisture issue, a gas issue, whatever, I can just open it up a little bit and let all that out over time. Whereas if I have permanent venting, then I may not be able to accomplish my goal of keeping everything from getting too cold with a single 60-watt light bulb. Just cutting some of these roof panels. Some notes about that. I tried using some metal shears, but these ridges here just about make it impossible. You would just be deforming the heck out of the metal. The best thing I found are some vinyl cutters. I freaking love these. They work pretty well as scissors in a pinch. They cut a lot of things pretty well. I don't think they're actually designed for roofing panel, but I've used them many times on it. I finished the fascia using vinyl fascia cover, and see some detail here. I'm not sure if that's the best way to handle this or not, but I think it's sufficient for keeping the water off. I couldn't say how correct it is, but this is how I'm merging these right here. Just fitting them inside each other so that the center is lapped slightly, and then I'm lapping right here. So I just need to get the ridge cap in place. I don't tend to see this at hardware stores, but this is called butyl caulk tape, and it's very workable. It lasts years without setting. It stays malleable. So what I'm going to do is just roll some of it under here and then just tack it down again. I think that'll be a good solution for this. I'm fabricating an end piece here, so basically just a cap. So what I did was I measured about the maximum vertical distance, so this way. Ended up with about 3 inches, so I marked back 3 inches, and then I cut every one of these complex folds here. So this I don't need at all, so I just cut that off. Yeah, that turned out pretty well. I put a couple lines of butyl caulk tape on here where the two ridge caps will join. Alright, so a few details here. You can see where I lapped this. I wanted to get it closed as much as I could, so I screwed it right there. The sun will take care of the rest. It'll melt this a little bit and make it malleable so that the existing pressure will seal it all the way. But it should be pretty sealed anyway, between these two screws mechanically. Every other one of these, I went ahead and screwed it in. At 1.5, I don't know that it's getting very much into the actual plywood underneath, but it's not really important. These act as decent metal screws as well, so it's on there really well. I don't have to worry about caulking this because gravity will cause the water to flow down, so it's not the same as these edges where I had to beetle caulk. The only other thing is, it would be nice if I had some kind of seal right here. They didn't send any kind of foam. I asked for anything for sealing up the roof. At the bottom, there's foam. They make a foam product that you stick in to prevent bugs and stuff from getting in there, and yet at the top, there's nothing. It's just a gap. Now I could just go nuts with a can of great stuff and fill this in if I wanted to, but I don't know that I am really too worried about it. It might be an awesome home for bugs, which is not ideal, but you know what? Unless it becomes a problem, it's just a well house. I'm not going to go in here very frequently, probably.